Our community has a serious problem, a pit bull problem. No, that's not a problem with pit bull attacks. About 1 million pit bull type dogs are euthanized in U.S. shelters each year, which is almost 2,800 per day. Despite making up less than 10% of the overall dog population, they make up about 30 to 50% of the shelter dog population. At our own Maricopa County shelter, 9,573 pit bull type dogs were received in 2014, and 4,527, almost half, were euthanized. To dispel the myths surrounding the dogs, to find out why there are so many in our shelters, and to look for ways to help them, we'll be talking to the experts and trying to shed light on the plight of the pit bull. First, what is a pit bull? If you answered a breed of dog, you're not quite right.
A pit bull is not a specific breed of dog. A pit bull is typically a mixture of a couple different breeds. It's going to be your American Pit Bull Terrier, your Staffordshire Bull Terrier. Sometimes they even throw in American Bulldogs. The term pit bull is a blanket statement.
But really the pit bulls that we deal with day in and day out are pit bull type dogs, and that's what we really like to say. We don't like to say that it is a breed because technically it's a mutt of mishmashed dogs put together that make the pit bulls that we see in our shelters.
What's always made me love this breed so much is you can do anything with them. They make fantastic family pets. You can take them on hikes. They can range from very mellow to very energetic. They just fit a large scope of what a lot of families look for in a dog. A lot of people are just afraid to get them because of the lack of education from the public. They're absolutely fantastic dogs with children.
Pit bull is, as we commonly refer to it, at least in this country, it's one of any number of breeds of terriers. Staffordshire Terriers, American Pit Bull Terriers, there are any number of them. But most of them are a group of dogs that came from Europe where they were trained as rat hunters in Europe. Through some kind of a disease or something, they lost almost all their cats over there. So they started having rat issues, so they trained the terrier breed, which are great little hunters, to go after and catch rats. In fact, until I started volunteering here, I'd never really been around pit bulls very much. But like most people, I had a lot of the common misconceptions that they're nasty, they're mean, they're all fighters, and very quickly I found that that's really not a very good representation of the breed. I can honestly say, in my experience, they are some of the most loving dogs I've ever been around, friendliest. Minnie here, sitting down here looking at me, it just loves nothing more than to sit with you and lick your face and play. So it's kind of sad that a lot of people are afraid of pit bulls. A lot of people cannot even get a pit bull because their apartments or condominium associations don't allow it. But by and large, they're certainly as nice as just about any other breed that I know of, frankly.
My definition of a pit bull is loving, caring. I think they're a lap dog and very loyal to their handler.
The pit bull stigma is not always true. I think they kind of get lost in that because they are such a loyal breed, and they do have a very high drive to please their owner, and so when they get in the wrong hands, that's when kind of some trouble can start.
They're absolutely fantastic dogs with children. The problem is people buy them cheap or buy them from what we call backyard breeders and people who don't know enough about what they're breeding. Once you start dabbling in unethical breeding is when you create dogs that have temperament problems towards humans, which is something that this breed was never originally bred for, and is something that you know, your uneducated breeder has brought into this breed over time?
As public information officer, I get called whenever we have dog bites. Usually in some of those cases, media will follow up and want to do stories. Unfortunately, what I have found is while Chihuahuas and small breeds may bite just as much, if not more, than a pit bull, those aren't the stories that the media is interested in. They are more interested in those pit bull bites because you know, take a Chihuahua, if it bites you, it's probably not going to do a lot of damage. But you take a pit bull or any other dog that size, they're going to do a little more damage. So unfortunately, the pit bulls tend to get seen as, you know, this vicious dog that's running around town biting and mauling people. And the reality is they don't bite any more than other dogs. You just hear about them more because the media does unfortunately tend to sensationalize those dog bite incidents. This is Lizzie. Lizzie actually came to our shelter as an injured stray. Hi, my love. She actually, we think, maybe had been hit by a car. I don't know if you can see, but she has some stitches. We had to clean up her eye. Actually, she had some issues with her eye. We had to remove her eye and stitch it up, and then she had a big laceration on the back of her neck, so that's still draining, but she's beautiful. She's still getting used to having one eye. She tends to run into walls occasionally, but I saw her in her kennel yesterday and I just fell in love with her. So she's been coming into my office and spending time with me and having a good time. I just love her.
Yeah, so Daisy was found by a coworker of mine in a flower bed, hence her name. She had scars all over her face. She had abscesses from wounds. She was pretty skinny. So the rescue I was volunteering for, we took her in.
Immediately fell in love. We already had 4 dogs, but Daisy became number 5. It was clear that she was meant to be with us. And she's been with us for a little over a year now. She's estimated to be between 7 and 8 years old, best guess. And she's been a therapy dog for about 8 months now. She's active in 3 different organizations around the valley. She works with kids, she works with hospice patients, she's done nursing homes, and she loves to be a therapy dog. She knows that when she gets her collar on and her little heart's on there that she's going to work, and she really, really enjoys it. I would say Daisy is a prime example of it's not about just how they're raised. Question mark how Daisy was raised for the first 2 to 3 years of her life.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
have no idea. And yet she can come here and be around 30 kids at one time, and she just loves it.
Not uncommon for us to post a pit bull on Facebook and to get comments such as, you know, oh, well, my apartment doesn't allow pit bulls, or, you know, my landlord won't let me have them, or people that will say, well, I have kids, I don't want a pit bull. Last year, I was at Usery Mountain Park. We do a wagon walk hike every month in the winter months, and so volunteers come out with dogs from the shelter and they walk them a mile in the park. We invite the public to come down. A lot of the dogs are pit bulls because they tend to be dogs that have been with us 30 days or longer. We want to get those dogs out of the shelter. Hike, and there was a couple there from Canada, and in Toronto they are not allowed pit bulls, and this is an elderly couple. They'd never seen a pit bull before in their lives. They fell in love with Monroe. I mean, he licked them and tried to get in their lap, and they were just amazed because they had just been told these were such awful dogs, and you know, they walked away questioning, why aren't these dogs allowed? They're wonderful.
I think that unfortunately pit bulls do have a bad reputation, and even though a lot of people, the community in Arizona realizes that that's not the case, some of the decision makers maybe don't. So like I was saying, there are so many apartments and condos that don't allow pit bulls, and people may not necessarily know that. So they adopt and then they take them home and they don't realize that they can't have a pitty with them. So I think that we get a lot that way, and then again, like I was saying, it's just a geographical thing. We get a lot of this breed of dog in Arizona, and they get a silly reputation for being scary and mean, but really they're the sweetest dogs.
Interesting. Backyard breeders are people who buy dogs just because they have papers and they know that they can create a status symbol, you know, and make a profit off what they're doing. An ethical breeder isn't someone who's going to make anything off the litters that they produce, even if they have 5 to 10 puppies and they sell them for $1,000 to $2,000 a piece. That's a big problem, and that's why there's such an overpopulation with this breed. Is people will breed litters and get 10 to 14 puppies, and they don't have homes for them lined up. You know, they expect to find 14 acceptable homes in 8 weeks. The breed isn't really overpopulating the shelter. It's the stigma of the pit bull. You know, there's no such thing as a breed pit bull. It's a general term that people have used for large bully type breeds or dogs that appear to look like a pit bull or mixed with a pit bull of some sort. You know, people fail to realize that the American Staffordshire Terrier and the American Pit Bull Terrier are 2 different breeds completely. And a lot of the dogs that you see on the street are probably neither, even though they look, you know, they look like it.
So, what can we do to help? It seems that many passionate, innovative individuals that can think outside the box have come up with creative solutions to help shelter dogs.
My name is Eric Wolf, and I am the founder of Project 22. And what we do is we take dogs out of shelters and we train them for vets who are suffering from PTSD. Project 22 came about because 5 years ago I tried to take my own life. And it's because there wasn't much help out there for people who suffer from PTSD, because you can't draw blood for it and you can't really get diagnosed unless you're fully with a professional and opening up of what happened to you. This just helps me so much on a day-to-day basis. I don't go into isolation mode because I have to take care of her. And how my dog helped me, I want to help others. When I suffer from night terrors, Santana here will lick my face or paw me and turn on the light. And when I go out in public, she creates barriers so I don't get startled. And she'll watch my back, and if someone's coming through my back and I don't see it, she will wag her tail or tap me on my leg. She is my right arm when I don't have a right arm. She's my left arm when I don't have a left arm. When I have a panic attack, the dog will lay on my leg and snap me out of it. And when I'm in public, she creates barriers so I don't go into shutdown and have a panic attack. I can go to movies and enjoy a movie because I got her with me. It's just a magic bond between the human and the dog that helps with people who suffer from depression, anxiety, PTSD. Probably about 80% of the dogs we have in Project 22 are pit bulls, and I pick them because they're fearless when it comes to stuff. They want to learn and they want to satisfy their handler. So they're very easy training, very loyal to their handler, which is what you want in a service dog.
We can probably make more of an impact with dogs who are scared when they come in. Because, as I mentioned just before, they don't get an evaluation because they don't come out of their kennels.
Would you please?
So we bring them into what we call these project kennels, which we've now got expanded between 8 and 10, depending on the time of the year. I go out with some of the other volunteers and we find the dogs that are fearful. We work with them just to get them to accept us initially, and we move them into our kennels. And we continue to socialize them. We spend a lot of time walking them. We spend a lot of time just playing with them. Many here spent, I don't know how many hours with me. And get them ready to go out for adoption, because they're some of the greatest dogs in the world. They're just scared when they get dropped off in a place like this.
The reality is the problems that we're dealing with, the pet homelessness, the spay neuter, those are community issues. They're not shelter issues. They're not, animal care and control or as a humane society. It's our community as a whole. So
spaying and neutering your own animals is a really important one. I don't think people understand the importance of that, or that there is an over pet population crisis. So I think it starts at home with spaying and neutering your own animals and educating yourself.
We've started a Pot Forward program where we encourage folks to do something nice for the shelter pets. We've had people come in and, you know, give us $100 and offer to sponsor the adoption fee for 5 of our longtime dogs that have been with us 30 days or longer. We have folks that come in and will pay for a microchip for an adopter. You know, and it's not all monetary. If you want to come in and volunteer, we always need volunteers at our shelters. There's a variety of different job duties that you can do. I understand that volunteering is a big time commitment, so we also have a day foster program. A lot of families participate, husbands, wives, kids. Through that program, you actually take an animal out of the shelter and spend a morning or an afternoon or a day with them outside of the kennels. Maybe you're hiking, you're taking them to the doggy grooming place, you know, pet-friendly restaurants, and just giving them a little bit of a break. So there's a lot of different things that people can do to help. It's difficult because not only are we working hard to get these dogs adopted, we're also having to work hard to educate people on the breed and let them know that, hey, this isn't a bad breed. Don't base everything you hear about the pit bull on the stories you see on the news. There's all these other stories that we can share with you that have happy endings and that these are great dogs.